Hey VC, John here. Monday night. Not done a video for about a month, just over a month, but there's a couple of things I want to tell you and a few things I want to show you actually. First thing I've got to do though is a big shout out to and thanks to Adam. His channel name's Adam Lee. That's not his surname, but he doesn't put that on YouTube, so I know what it is, but he may not want to publicise that widely. I don't know if you recall, me and Julia, my wife, we went to Llandudno, which is a beautiful Victorian resort on the North Wales coast. And that was in the summer, and we spent a lot of time trawling around charity shops, and we found a few singles, Madonna singles. Now Adam, if you watch his channel, is a massive Madonna fan, and I actually had picked up a few things, one in particular that I'd already got. So when I was showing them in the video, I said, if anybody wants that, just let me know and you can have it, because I've got another one. Anyway, Adam sent me a message and said he would do, but it was too much to ask to send it to the States. Well, that didn't bother me. I suspected that it would be somebody outside the country, so I sent him the single. I think I sent him two singles, and the other thing I put in there, if you know Adam's videos, he's always got lots of artwork of Madonna albums, and in the UK, I don't know if this was the same in the US, but Madonna's first album was issued, and it's a well-known one where she's got her face, and it's quite a grey cover. My actual copy is a US import of that. But in the UK, when she took off, they reissued the first album. They actually call it Madonna, the first album, with different artwork. I don't know if that was the case in America, but it's quite a nice picture of her front. There's an even better one on the rear, and I thought, well, I didn't want to just send one single. It seemed a waste of the postage, so I included that album as well. And Adam's CD, mainly buys CDs, but anyway, I thought he'd like it, and I sent it. And he did say that he was going to get me back, which wasn't necessary. Anyway, I think it was 2 weeks ago, Saturday morning. I was on my own. Something came to the letterbox, and I didn't recognise it. I'd not ordered it. Anyway, when I took it out, it was this fantastic Bruce shirt, and it was completely out of the blue. I wasn't expecting it. It says "Darkness on the Edge of Town" on the back. So it's thank you, Adam, my friend. You completely nailed it. This is exactly the sort of thing I would wear normally. So that's the first shout out that I needed to do. The second thing is I wanted to tell you about, and it's this part of the video is inspired by Brett's visitation at the weekend of an exploration of the EP format. Now, I'll tell you, my mum, who's in her late 70s now, her last job for 15 years of her working life was for a solicitor's, which is a law firm for the wider world. And she worked in probate, so she dealt with people's wills and things like that. And one of her contacts, who's a guy just a bit younger just slightly younger than me, did house clearances for her, and he did my mum's better half, who now is in a care home. And they must have got in conversation, because it turned out that he knows quite a lot about the glass that he finds in the properties and the pottery, and he's got somebody who he considers to be an expert on books, so things that he doesn't know about himself. However, he collected records together, and he said to me he'd got about a lot of records, and my mum suggested that he have a word with me and I'd look at them for him. So about 18 months ago I went round to his house, had a look through all these records, and there wasn't it was a lot of classical stuff, a lot of middle of the road, and a few oddities, a bit of jazz. And I said I didn't think it'd be worth that much, but we came to a deal that whatever I could get for them, we would split. And I think I got about £100. I do remember going to his house and leaving an envelope for £45 in his letterbox. But anyway, I didn't hear anything from him at all since then. I thought he'd taken umbrage. I wondered if he thought that I'd not got enough for them or whatever. Anyway, I got a phone call from him the week before last, and he said he was over this way doing a favour for a friend. He'd got some more records he'd been stockpiling, and would I have a look at them? So I said, yeah, no problem. After work he came, opened my garage up, and he starts dumping boxes in, and there was just also, they were in those PVC cases, little singles case, lettuce boxes, some of those he threw in, big cardboard boxes. There was just all sorts of singles, 78s, small 78s, like single size albums. And he was really apologetic. He says, "Oh, it looks like a load of rubbish to me. It's just rubbish. And if you want me to take it away," I said, "Mark, you're going to have to leave it with me so I can have a proper look." So I did do that, and pretty much there was about 2,000 albums. You can perhaps not quite as much as that, maybe 1,500, 1,600 maybe, in sort of amount. And I quickly cleared half of it out. But right in the middle of it, and when you do look at these things, as record collectors, you'll know what I mean. You can tell when there's a collection in there. And I found a rock and roll collection right in the middle of it all, and they'd been just dumped underneath. So I sent him a text saying this was looking a bit more promising last time, and what I eventually found was about 27, 28 EPs, some singles and some vinyl albums from the late 50s, early 60s, and I just want to show you the EPs because they are very, very collectible. If you know about these things, some of these are quite valuable. Some of them are booked in the rare record price guide at £80 each. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rapidly run through, just showing you what they are. So we've got Gene Vincent EP number 1, The Crazy Beat of Gene Vincent number 2, Chuck Berry and Bo Diddley, Chuck Berry again, Little Richard, Chuck Berry, Tommy Steele, Jerry Lee Lewis, and these are all in there. There's Gene Vincent again, from the soundtrack of Hot Rod Gang, all quite nice condition. The vinyl's excellent. Plus Jerry Lee Lewis, Gene Vincent, Little Richard, The King, and again, and The King, Jerry Lee Lewis, Bo Diddley, some more Chuck and Bo, some Little Richard, Gene Vincent again, Johnny Duncan. Don't know what that was doing in there, but that's a bad single. And then Chuck and Bo Diddley. So those were just the EPs. Now, if you are a collector of those things, and I know many of you are, you'll know there's some value in there, and we have the same deal. But what I'm really looking forward to do, I think I'll probably make him between £400 and £500 through selling the stuff that there is. So I'm really looking forward to going out to see him just before Christmas and say, "Oh, Mark, you know, you thought that wasted time and you're going to throw them in the skip. This is what's come from it." And the other interesting thing was, it just got me to thinking about what happens when people clear houses if they're not careful in what they're doing. Because this was one of the records that was in there. This is one of my mate Harry, one of his favourite all-time albums. It's Rock and Roll Trio by Johnny Burnette. This is the 1966 reissue on Ace of Hearts. Now the original issue from 10 years earlier, 56, it was a 10-inch. This is booked at £40. If the 10-inch should have been in there, and it could easily have been in that collection, that's an £800 record. Now how many occasions have those been thrown in landfill into skip? And it just got me to thinking about that. And the other interesting thing was, because I was brought up in a town called Mansfield, and I went to school. I wasn't born there, and the first record shop I ever went to was called Sid Booth's, and I actually showed a photograph of Sid Booth on the Facebook page some time ago, perhaps about 6 months ago. Anyway, when 78s were sold, they were actually sold. They were delivered to the shop without a sleeve, and then they were re-sleeved in the one of the shop. And I actually found 2 78 covers in there, and I just want to show you those. I'll just grab them. And there were 2 in there. This one is from a shop called, I don't know if you can read that, William Bull, and it was on Westgate, which is a shopping street in Mansfield. And I've never heard of William Bull, and I've actually found a different 78 and I've put that in there, and this one is I'm Not a Juvenile Delinquent by Frankie Lime and the Teenagers, and what my intention was possibly to frame that. But the one I was really interested in was this one, which this is from Sid Booth on 11 Queen Street. Now that photograph that I put on Facebook, that was the interior of 11 Queen Street, and was the very first record shop I went in, as I say. But this this 78 is Hard Headed Woman by Elvis Presley, and again my intention is to frame that. So it was a very interesting few days, and I still have got quite a few more of those records to dispose of for him, and I think he's going to be quite happy with what I'm able to do this time. So I hope you found that interesting. I'm sorry for waffling on a little bit, VC, but I'll be interested in your comments as always. I think I'm up to something like 248 or 249 subscribers now, so thank you guys as well. I don't really dwell on that very often, so I hope you're all doing well, and take care.